We're going to go through a quick demonstration of the CSI's TorVPN capability. TorVPN runs very similar to Tails. So we're going to do a quick check to see what our external IP address is. So we do have the 98 address for external. The 51 address is going to be through the Tor process that's running in the background. But most traffic is going to be going directly through the internet, and that's what it's going to be assigned to, is that 98 address. So go and close out of this window. This works both in the virtual machine and on the bootable version of CSI Linux, whereas the gateway only works within the virtual machine. But this one, universal. This question mark at the very top, we saw that gave us an IP address. So whenever we go through Tor, a lot of times the Tor will go through Tor again, because again, Tor is going in the background in the system. But all our traffic's going to be running through a Tor interface. So we'll still get two different IP addresses up there when we run that question mark, when we are connected to a Tor network. But sometimes the second set takes a lot longer because it's going through a massively long path at that point. So here we're going to do password is CSI for CSI. We're choosing the ENPO-S3 as the adapter within this environment. So go and hit OK. I'm going to turn CSI TorVPN on. And then just wait. It should pop up an external address from a different site. So if it works, we should be going through somewhere other than that 98 address. And we'll see that here in just a second. Looks like we're going through Vienna. And the background does change. This gives a visual representation that you are no longer on the surface web. So we have this specific background for TorVPN. We have another darkish bluish background for Tor Gateway. And Tor Gateway will be using Wonix. But as you can see, the only one that's running here is CSI Linux. So we'll try this one last time. And as we're waiting, because again, this can take a little bit of time. Again, it's a 109 address. Oh, that was actually a little bit faster. So I'm going to go to ipinfo.io. And that should show us we're still in, okay, this one now we're going through Germany. So it's as easy as that. Some of the problems you may come across is if the network itself is blocking Tor. If you do not have enough bandwidth, we have had this challenge in certain areas to where the bandwidth at the location is inconsistent at best. And unfortunately, that does not foster very good will towards the Tor network. So there's a good probability, again, if you're not getting any internet access at all, just verify the internet's up and running, your network's up and running, and that, again, going back to the question mark here, you're at least getting the first line. If you're not getting the second line, and you consistently don't get that second line when you're on the surface web, before you turn on the Tor, that's showing you that Tor could possibly be being blocked. So that's kind of a troubleshooting tip. That's another reason why we set it this way. But going back to, again, this is going through Tor. Now this is Tor through Tor. So sometimes you may have to wait a few minutes for it to either pop up or not pop up. But just a couple quick troubleshooting tips for just making sure that it's working. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Again, password. Making sure that it's the ENPOS3. And one of the reasons why we have this pop up in the back end is so you can tell what card you're going through. Because sometimes you might have a lot of different cards. Especially if you have virtualization built in here like Docker, VirtualBox, or VMware. Those will put in their own virtual cards as well. So this right here, hit OK. Turn it off. It's going to do the same thing as before. And now we have our 98 address back. Go close out. Run this one more time. This is considerably faster. Again, going back to the Surface web is always going to be faster instead of Tor within Tor. And we're good to go.